The bar on his shoulders bends slightly as he sinks into a deep squat. The plates add up to roughly 200 pounds. His jaw is clenched, his left foot is still not perfect, but his back is straight, his eyes are focused. And in the corner of the gym, a tiny girl claps her hands and shouts, "Go, Daddy, go!" This looks like a scene from an inspirational sports movie. It is not. This is a real man named Logan in Phoenix, Arizona, 1 year after doctors told his wife that he would probably never walk again, never live independently, and might never truly wake up. To understand how he got here, you have to rewind to one night in September 2024. Logan was in his late 30s, a competitive powerlifter and a hardworking telecommunications contractor who easily hit 20,000 steps a day on the job. He trained, he ate clean, he did all the right things. Then suddenly, at home, he collapsed. A massive hemorrhagic stroke tore through the quiet of their house and dropped him into a coma. In the frantic hours that followed, his wife, Stacie, rode in a blur of sirens and fluorescent lights. She was not only his partner, but also a physical therapist and a brand new mother. Their daughter was just 10 months old. She listened to neurologists explain the scans, their faces careful and clinical. The message was brutal. The stroke was extensive, the brain bleed severe. They warned that survival itself was unlikely, and that if Logan did live, he would probably never walk again, never live independently, and might never truly wake up. She went home that first night to a crib and an empty side of the bed. The baby monitor glowed softly. On the kitchen counter lay a gym shaker bottle and a set of car keys. Everything screamed that this should not be happening to a young, strong husband and father. Grief came in waves, but beneath it, something else started to form in Stacie's chest. Refusal. Refusal to accept that this was the final draft of his husband's story. In the intensive care unit, Logan lay connected to a ventilator, motionless, his body already starting the quiet process of shutting down muscle it no longer needed. She waited for therapists to come in, to move his arms, his legs, to protect his strength while he slept. No one came. There were other patients, other priorities, a system that was not built for aggressive, early, individualized neurorehabilitation. She looked at the man in that bed and realized that if she remained a passive wife, she could lose him forever. On day 3, she walked into the hospital carrying her own equipment, resistance bands, vibration tools, soft tissue tools, a small speaker, even toys from their daughter's room. She spoke to the nurses, she explained her plan, and then she went to work. She stretched his limbs, rotated his joints, tapped and vibrated his muscles, trying to keep the nervous system talking to a brain that seemed completely silent. She played music, she brushed his skin, she held up bright baby toys in front of eyes that did not yet track. At first, there was nothing. No squeeze, no flinch, no sign that the man she loved was still in there. Then, slowly, the smallest signals arrived. A slight attempt to push when she asked, a faint pull against the mand. Micro-movements that most people might miss, but that to a trained therapist and devoted wife felt like fireworks. Every tiny response rewrote the narrative the doctors had handed her. It did not erase the danger, but it proved one simple thing. His brain was still trying. Weeks went by. Logan spent over 7 weeks in the hospital, 4 of them in that intensive care unit. While inpatient rehab staff eventually worked with him for several hours a day, Stacie stayed and added her own sessions on top, day after day. They became a team of 2 in that small room, chasing connection between brain and body. As he began to wake more fully, she progressed to resistance bands, blood flow restriction training, careful mobility work, and bodyweight exercises. She mobilized his hips and back to ease pain. Every simple task became an Olympic final, sitting up, standing briefly, forming a word. Here is your rehook. The story does not end when the hospital discharge papers are signed. In many ways, that's where it really begins. When Logan finally came home, he did not walk through the front door on his own 2 feet. He rolled in a wheelchair. The house had to change, doors removed, assistive devices installed, pathways cleared. The man who used to carry heavy equipment for work now needed help just to move from room to room. Rehab turned into a full-time job. For the first 6 months, he attended speech therapy, physical therapy, and occupational therapy 3 times a week, plus vision therapy 1 or 2 times a week. Between appointments, Stacie filled every gap with carefully planned exercises at home. The hardest part was not only his legs, it was his hands and arms. Logan could not pick up his daughter, could not change her, could not feed her. He watched Stacie do everything, and the frustration cut deep. His limited walking ability drained his mental energy. Confidence, that thing he had worn so easily before, became fragile. Stacie saw all of that pain, but she also saw the same work ethic that had once pushed him to deadlift over 700 pounds. She used her knowledge of neurorehabilitation to design tasks that were just hard enough to challenge his brain without breaking his spirit. 3 months after that terrible night, Logan began structured strength training again, this time from scratch. No ego, no heavy plates, just deliberate movements. Step by step, he regained control. Crude, wobbly squats turned into solid ones. Walking with devices turned into more natural strides, supported by a specialized device that lifted his weaker foot and kept him safe from falls. His hands slowly learned new patterns, one repetition at a time. The progress was not linear. There were days when nothing seemed to change, when fatigue and grief flooded the room. On those days, Stacie did what she had done since day 3 in the hospital. She showed up anyway. 5 months after that terrible night, Logan returned to work. Imagine what that meant. Driving again, despite early warnings that vision problems might make it impossible, and stepping back into a role that once defined him, this time carrying invisible scars. By the 1-year mark, he no longer needed the wheelchair. He was back in the gym 4 times a week, squatting around 200 pounds, deadlifting more than 250 pounds, bench pressing about 100 pounds, and performing most daily activities on his own. To a stranger, he looked like any strong dad lifting weights after work. Only their family knew how close they had come to losing all of this. There are still reminders that the stroke happened. A little foot drop on the left, handled with technology and training, fingers that still need daily work, fatigue that shows up some days without warning. But there is also a father who can carry his daughter, chase her around the living room, and tuck her into bed. There is a wife who discovered that her professional skills, fueled by love, could literally alter the course of a human life. Looking back, Stacie is clear about one thing. What she did for Logan should not be exceptional. Early movement, aggressive and thoughtful rehabilitation, and genuine belief in the brain's ability to heal should be the standard, not a rare luxury reserved for people who happen to be married to a physical therapist. She speaks openly now about the need for families to advocate, to ask questions, to demand better care. This is more than a story about a miracle recovery. It's a story about what can happen when love refuses to accept the first never that a system hands it. A young father in Arizona went from a hospital bed, motionless and silent, to a gym where the bar bends on his back, and a little girl cheers for him from the corner. Between those two images stands one woman who chose to fight, one day at a time, and a man who met her halfway with every ounce of strength he had left.